everybody, my name is Rachel and welcome to Rachel Rocks. This is my first YouTube channel, so I'm super excited about it and I can't wait to share information and stories and all kinds of positive energy to you and for your life. First off, I want to say I'm a New Yorker, so I talk like this, hands all the time. I'm very positive and outgoing no matter what a situation is. So you will see that I laugh about everything. I mean, like, everything. Okay. Even at weird situations, I laugh. So just know that is just me and my fabulousness. Okay, so my page, I'm hoping this channel will actually inspire you, motivate you, and educate you. I did want to start off by saying there's all kinds of things that happen to us in our lives, and we don't always have control over what happens to us in our lives. But what we do have control over is we have control over the way that we react to it and what we do because of it. And so, you know, what I'm talking about is I talk a lot to kids at high schools, and I share my story about having cancer and how I faced cancer head on, terminal leukemia when I was 26 and again when I was 27, and how I really changed my life because of it. And so, you know, I tell these kids a lot of the times, you don't know what's going to happen in your life. I mean, like, you could get in a car accident, something can happen, you can get super sick, and it's really how you attack that situation, how you really handle that situation and deal with it, and how you make it kind of like your own thing. So, example, I had cancer and I couldn't go back to work, and that was probably one of the hardest things I went through because I was constantly asking my oncologist, when can I go back to work? When can I go back to work? When can I go back to work? And even when I tried going back to work, I couldn't do the job that I used to do because I had so much damage as a result of the treatments that saved my life. Now, I am totally thankful that those crazy treatments saved my life. But part of me wishes I would have known about the side effects, or the direct effects as I call them, before I went through that treatment, because maybe I would have chosen a different treatment option when I went through chemotherapy, total body radiation, brain surgery, all that kind of stuff. Maybe I would have done something better, like an alternative treatment. And so, you know, I had to come to realize that I wasn't going to be able to go back to work and I would need to find something to do with my life. Okay, so before I get too far into my story, I'm going to back up a little bit and tell you about my cancer story, my diagnosis, and how that changed my life and gave me this new normal. When you have cancer, your life does not always go back to the way that it was. In many cases, it becomes whatever your life is, your new normal is your new life. So before I had cancer, I wanted to start my own clothing company, online clothing company. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to do a lot of different things, you know, which would really mean that I would have to go to school, a lot of college, or I would have to raise a lot of money to start a business or something, okay? And cancer struck me right at this crazy time of my life. I had been living in an area for about 3 years. I had 12 different jobs. I had moved 7 different times, 7 or 8 different times in 3 years I moved. I even lived on friends' couches. You know, I had hit like this rock bottom of my life, and I called this old company that I used to work for, and they were like, yes, we want to hire you, come on out, move back down here, we're really excited. So I did. I left my entire crazy life that I had in this one area, and I moved to a new area. So The interesting part was I didn't have anywhere to move, okay? When I was like, oh, I'm gonna move. I don't know where I'm going. So I had met this guy on MySpace. We went on one date. We became really good friends, and he said, come live with me and help cook food because I don't cook, and you can live here for free. So I was living with this guy friend of mine. And this one night I was getting ready for this big singles event I was going to. So I was really excited about it. I was going to go with my mom, which I know for some people they'd be like, that doesn't sound exciting. But my mom is pretty cool. So I'm driving in the valley trying to find my shoes. I cannot find shoes, like flat shoes, okay? Because I have a habit of walking into stuff and falling and things like that. And so I'm driving and I get into a car accident. And I always say that this is the car accident that saved my life because it was the thing that made me go to the hospital and really made me find out what was going on with me. So even before the car accident, I had bruises like everywhere, and they were like purple, like the color of this, like super purple welt bruises all over my body, huge. And back then, like I said, I'm super clumsy, so I would like walk and hit my arm on a wall, and then I would get bruised, and then the bruise became super big, and at the same time I was having these migraines and these big bad headaches and taking Advil for them, and I know Advil is a blood thinner, so I just contributed the fact that I had these big bruises to the fact that A, I was clumsy, and B, I was taking a blood thinner. And when I first went to the hospital after my car accident, I didn't have insurance, so I could not afford to do blood tests. And so a couple days later, I went to Ventura County Medical Center, which is in Ventura County where I live, and they tested my blood, and they said, your platelets are super low. Now, normal platelets for people are supposed to be between 150,000 to 350,000, and my platelets were at, are you ready? 10,000. 10,000, which is deadly. So they admit me to the hospital, and a couple days later they tell me that I have leukemia. So this might sound a little funny to you when I say this. I was 26. The only time I had ever heard of leukemia was in felines, cats. Feline leukemia. So I didn't know that it was cancer. My response to the doctor was, what is that, like Lyme disease? Because I have a lot of family that have Lyme disease. And he said, no, it's cancer. And I think I was shocked at that diagnosis the first time. He told me that. And when I called up my mom, you know, I'm crying on the phone, and I'm like, Mom, I have cancer. And my mom rushes over to the hospital with a bunch of her church friends, and they all pray over me. And that was just the start. I mean, that was just the start of my diagnosis. And what happened from there was I had to get transferred to another hospital because VCMC did not treat cancer back in 2006. I had to get transferred to City of Hope, which was 3 hours away. And what I didn't know, I mean, this is where ignorance is bliss. I didn't know that the cancer that I had was terminal. I didn't know that the doctors were telling my mom I probably wouldn't make it to the other hospital. All I knew was I had leukemia, and I had to go to another hospital to get chemotherapy and to beat it, right? And so that was my attitude from the beginning was, I'm going to fight this cancer. I'm going to beat it. I'm going to kick its butt. It doesn't matter what it throws at me. I'm just going to deal with it, and I'm just going to do it, okay? And that's been my attitude ever since then. So these ambulance guys come in my room, they pick me up, and they're super serious because the oncologist had told them that I was going to die on the way to the other hospital. And so we get in the ambulance, and heck, if I am going to be stuck in an ambulance with these ambulance guys quiet for 3 hours. So what do you think I did? I start flirting with the bald man in the back of the ambulance with me because he's fabulous and he's bald. And this is where I fell for bald men. I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to just keep meeting fabulous bald men, and now I need to date some bald men because I had cancer, and that's the thing you do, right? And the guy up front, he looks like Tom Cruise, and he sees that I'm having a party in the ambulance, and so he says, "Hey Rachel, do you mind if I play some K-Rock?" And I'm like, "Sure, play some K-Rock, let's go." And so he starts playing K-Rock, he's singing in the front, I'm dancing in this gurney, just like that, the entire 3 hours, flirting with the bald guy in the back. And meanwhile, my mom is freaking out, trying to get to City of Hope as fast as possible and praying to God that I am alive. Please save my daughter, she's saying. She gets to the City of Hope. We get there in the ambulance, and we come out hysterically, laughing. The guys that were totally serious picking me up were now laughing. And my mom says, "Go figure, Rachel. She's like dying of cancer, and she's partying in the back of an ambulance." So that was always me, okay? Even when I got chemotherapy and was put into a drug-induced coma, and I had to relearn how to read and how to write and how to walk. I couldn't sit up longer than 5 minutes when I got out of that coma without needing oxygen. I mean, like, I was super sick. And no matter how bad things seemed, I was alive, right? So I couldn't complain about it. I could only be happy and find some way to laugh at things, okay? So I was always watching funny movies in the hospital. I was always calling up my friends. I was always laughing with the nurses. I was always just being me. So there's so much more to that story. I could tell you a whole bunch of stuff, but I just wanted to get the point out there that no matter what you're dealing with, if it's cancer, if it's diabetes, if it's what else? I mean, like, there's a lot of different things. HIV, if you're dealing with any type of other illnesses, anemia, car accident made you paralyzed, you can't walk, you have spina bifida, whatever it is that you're dealing with, just know a couple things. It depends on how you deal with it, how you work with it and use it to change your life. Okay? For me, I did a lot of stuff. I didn't go back to the job that I loved to do because I couldn't do it anymore. And I had to come to terms with the fact that I couldn't do it anymore. But I knew that if I could get out there and talk to people about what I was experiencing going through cancer, then that could make a lasting impact on the lives of other people. So, whatever you're dealing with, keep a positive outlook and just know it's up to you on how you deal with it. So, I'll give you like a really good example. So I was diagnosed with terminal cancer, right? Terminal leukemia. They told my mom I was going to die. I probably wouldn't make it to the other hospital. A lot of people get diagnoses like this. A lot of people. And when you're given a diagnosis like that, and a doctor says, you have 6 months to live, or you have this amount of time, or you have terminal leukemia, or whatever it is that they say to you, it is not their decision how long you have to live. That is between you and God, or your higher power, or whatever it is that you believe in. It's up to you how you face that challenge or that obstacle in your life. And some people have taken those challenges and those obstacles in their lives and they have turned it into wonderful things. Organizations, or people like Nick Vujicic. Oh my gosh, I can't even pronounce his last name. You know what I mean? The man without limbs, life without limbs. He was born with no limbs. And look what he does with his life. He goes across the world and he inspires people with his story and how he overcame that and how he turned something so scary and difficult into something so wonderful. So, it's up to you how you face your challenges. Welcome to Rachel Rocks. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again. Sorry this is a little longer than I expected, but just remember, I am here to inspire, motivate, and educate you. Till next time.